Today's podcast guest, we have the Earthy Angels founder, Yoga Pilates studio owner, retreat host and facilitator, and spiritual guide and teacher, Lisa Everding, joining me. Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, Sal. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Oh, I'm so pleased to have you on as well. We see each other quite often, and you are a client of mine, and I'm a client of yours. So we do have chats all the time, but it's exciting to be doing this on the podcast, and I'm excited to share your wisdom with my audience as well. So I'm going to dive right in, Lisa, and ask you, can you share a bit about your business and the kind of work that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I started the fitness journey as I just fell in love with fitness myself, and I become a personal trainer. I own Earthy Angels Yoga Pilates. So I teach in the studio. I teach yoga Pilates bar, meditation. I run retreats. I facilitate women's circles. I podcast. I coach and mentor. Have I left anything? Have I left anything? I
Oh,
love what I do. I really love what I
yes.
do.
Yeah. Tell us more, like why do you love it? What do you love about what you do?
Do you know, for me, my biggest why is the transformation that I get in women. And being in the fitness industry for such a long time, I would work with women as first off as a personal trainer. And I noticed they started coming to me because they felt really comfortable with me and they didn't feel comfortable in a gym type vibe. And I noticed that the results come from doing the inner work. And I do a lot of inner work on myself. And I remember saying to my husband many years ago, I was like, why doesn't everybody do this inner work? Why doesn't, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail, but I'm like, why doesn't everybody do the work on themselves? Because it's affected, it's impacted and improved our marriage, our relationship, the way I raise my kids, the confidence in myself. And so I've naturally evolved over the years from running the studio and seeing that women wanted a safe space to come and move their body. We do have men too, but it's predominantly women. And they didn't feel safe, they didn't feel comfortable. They wanted an environment that was free from judgment. And so I founded the community, and that was my vision, and that's what we got. And that's how people feel. They come in and they say, I just feel so safe here. There is no judgment. I feel very comfortable. I started doing as a PT a lot of the mindset work, the building people from the inside out. Everything starts from the inside. That I naturally just kind of evolved to going, you know what, I want to coach people on the inner transformation as well, because it didn't matter what body fat percentage my clients got, what muscle mass, how much they could lift. There were people that ticked every box and still did not love themselves, still did not like their bodies, still did not feel confident. And it's when you do the inner work that you get the holistic transformation. That's where Earth Angels comes from. It's that earthy, physical. You got one vessel to get you through life. You got to take care of it. You got to nourish it, and then working on the soul body as well, and kind of bridging both together. So, and I just love it. I just kept getting more and more testimonials and messages about how much it impacted their life, and that's like my fuel to keep going. I'm a responding generator by my human design. So I noticed that people would ask me for things. So this is how my business kind of evolved. I just started off in the studio with yoga and Pilates, and people were like, have you thought about doing bar? I'm like, okay, I'll go and do my bar teacher training. Did that. I would run coaching programs, and they would say, I really love your coaching. Will you coach me? I go, okay, let's do that. Or I love listening to your coaching on the videos that I would share privately with the girls. You should start a podcast. I go, okay, I'll do that. So it's been, I guess, that natural evolution through responding what my community wants.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
wanted to ask you, because you said you've been doing this inner work and this personal development for quite some time, and it's helped and impacted your life so much. So how long have you been doing that for?
So I'm 47 now, and I have started in my 20s. I look at this way, in my
Yeah.
20s, all physical. So
Yeah.
I would go to the gym from a very young age. After I had my first baby at 25, like I become addicted to working out and just having that time away from, as much as I
Mm.
love my kids, that little bit of time for myself. And then in my 30s, I started the mindset work. So in early 30s, I've been a reader. I remember picking up my first Abraham Hicks book. She speaks on the law of attraction. And that was in my early 30s. Then I naturally gravitated more towards a lot more of the real deep spiritual work. So it's been kind of this evolution of the body, add the mind, and then add a lot more of the soul work. So in my 40s, I did a lot of the soul work.
Yeah, I love that. I loved your description and explanation of Earthy Angels and what your business stands for and what it means. So you mentioned like you've got the studio, and was it in the studio that you started bringing in this inner work, or is that out of the studio?
It started when I had this studio. I won't go into too much detail. I've got a podcast about it on one of my earlier episodes. I actually got I had breast implants, and I got my breast implants out, and that was caused by my hair started falling out, and I went through I just had a gut feeling that it was connected, but no doctor told me it was connected, and I just kind of followed my gut and went through this whole process of it. I felt like it was a shift from ego to soul, and through doing like, it was almost like my business kind of paused for a moment. Why it was still running, it was still functioning, but I was behind the scenes doing a lot of the soul searching, figuring out what is it about our body, why do we have to perfect our body, what was wrong with me, why did I do this to myself, and going through a lot of that journey where I had to kind of re-fall in love with myself and find my authentic self as I stripped away a part of what I'd carried for 13 years. So that's kind of what really took me into that deep spiritual work.
Mm,
I had dabbled with, like, one of my friends is a Reiki, she was a Reiki healer. So I started for a long time, actually, in my early 30s, I was going to Reiki, I was doing
mm.
Reiki meditation, just kind of dabbling in little bits and just going, this is helping, this feels good. And that's, I just kind of wanted to learn more.
Yeah. And how do you bring that to your clients and your audience?
So I bring it to them through, it's like it just spills out of me in terms of when I'm on the yoga mat. So literally with everything that I do, when I'm on the yoga mat, because I've done so much personal development, every business owner needs to do, I'm sorry, I'm just blunt. Every business owner needs to do personal development and spiritual development, because it just shifts your mindset and you think bigger, you have a bigger perspective, and you learn takeaways and you grow and evolve. My mantra has always been growth and evolution over a lifetime. And the more I grow and the more I learn, it just spills out of me. So when I am teaching people on the yoga mat, I will share with them nuggets of spiritual wisdom that just intuitively come up at the time. The retreats, so I take the girls through, like, I run retreats in Bali for a week, and I take them through like a whole week of just stepping away from the rat race and just teaching them the spiritual tools. I've got a mentoring program as well, where, because people would come to me and ask me to coach them or say, can you I want to be more spiritual, but I don't know how. I want to find myself, but I don't know how. I want to be more confident and love myself, but I don't know how. I'm scared to let myself be seen. I don't know how. So I developed this coaching program with your help too, Sal. Like, you've been a big influence in me putting that together with the framework, because I had all these ideas, and I remember going to Sal and going, help, like, I feel like a jumbled mess. These are all the things I teach, but how can I put it into a way that I can incorporate it with some structure? And because I've been doing it for so many years, how do I package that up into a program? So I do like an online coaching container, and we have face-to-face catch-ups as well, with the girls. And my podcast, I find my podcast is just a free resource where I just share from experience. I share from feedback from the community, the struggles that people will come to me with, and how I help them through that. I share that on the podcast. On my own journey, I share that on the podcast, because I believe from all of us, we've all got a story, and we've all got our own lessons, and experiences are such powerful, powerful ways to help and heal and teach other people. So it kind of
Yeah.
spills out a bit of everything that I do, even in class.
So as soon as people are in your sphere or in your company, they're getting your magic, which I've definitely seen and experienced firsthand as well. I want to touch on what you shared about every business owner should do personal development. And, that's definitely been my journey as well. As my business evolved from resume writing to career coaching, I obviously studied coaching. So it was straight head on into the personal development space. But I have noticed I don't know if it's just because I've been in this world and surrounding myself with coaches and business owners, but I've definitely noticed more people opening up to it and getting involved. But what I wanted to touch on, did you notice since becoming a business owner that you wanted to dive in and understand yourself more so? Because that's definitely been my journey. And a lot of people I know, it's been a big growth experience being a business owner because so much stuff comes up. So I'm curious to hear more of your thoughts on that.
The first book I read, like I spoke about Abraham Hicks, that was more probably a spiritual book.
Yeah.
And that got my attention because it had on the front cover money and the law of attraction. So, and then I dove into it.
And so you'd already started your business at that point?
My personal training business. I had
Yeah.
my PT business when I
Yeah.
wrote that. Before I had my PT business, when I was still, I was in Network 21, like the Amway Network 21,
Okay.
right when I had the kids. And that was literally the foundation of my love for personal development because I remember going to seminars and I remember they would give us books to read and I become obsessed. The first book I fell in love with was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a 1937 classic. I'm giving it to my kids. I said to my son, I'll pay you to read this book. And it's that good. But that also is the power of thought. So it's quite a deep book with the power of your thoughts. You think what you become what you think. And I started to read these books and see how they impacted my marriage, the way I raised my kids, the way I didn't sweat the small stuff. My perspective
Mm.
started to get bigger and I started to have more faith and more belief in myself. So as a business owner, when you're reading books like this, they help build you from the inside out. They help you think, your creativity expands. Your when you learn to connect in with source, with spirit, you understand the value of meditation and you understand the value of stillness, how not just from all the woo stuff, but from a business owner, you tap into a stream of creativity. You tap into a stream of like purpose. Like I'll go into my meditation or just sit out on my deck and go into a nice peaceful zone. And it's amazing. All this content comes through that then I will type into my coaching program or my post that I'm going to write. It all kind of filters out into everything you do because my capacity has expanded, my mindset has expanded. I think bigger. So my
Mm.
ideas get bigger,
Yeah.
my getting out of your comfort zone. I think getting out of your comfort zone is a big thing for business owners because it's scary, right? Like no one teaches you how to do this. So the more books and personal development you do, the more that you have faith and you get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I invested in, so I've invested well over probably close to 200,000 over the years in coaches, in personal development, in books, in podcasts, in teacher trainings, not podcasts, like audios that
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
series that I've
Whatever.
bought. Yeah, I've spent so much money in personal and spiritual development and coaches and mentors because they can see things that I can't
Yeah.
see.
It's an
And
investment,
they
right? It,
100%. And I credit a lot of my growth to the investment that I've
mm,
paid,
mm.
yeah, to myself and my
I love
community
what
benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a ripple effect, the impact that you're making. I wanted to go back to what you were sharing about, the creativity dropping in because this, really reminded me of the day retreats that we've run together and
Yes.
what we then help our audiences to achieve by getting out in nature, stepping away from the do, getting out of the weeds and being able to start to tap into some of these spiritual tools, the personal development, the professional development, and have those ideas drop in. So I'm yeah, yeah. So I'm glad you shared that because, I've just found since starting a business, it's been my biggest personal development and growth journey that I've had. And I just, like you said, no one teaches you how to do this. So you're going to come up and face fears. You're going to have roadblocks that come up, like going live on social media. I know that's a big one for a lot of business owners. And or then it could be facing tech challenges that we've discussed in the past, and lots of things. As a business owner or entrepreneur, you're wearing all of the hats and you've got that juggle going. So there's going to be things that come up that you're trying to navigate your way through. So I totally agree that inner work is what really, really helps to be able to push past that, overcome your fears, and grow as a person.
Absolutely. Like I'm okay with doing nothing. I used to be a control freak. I had to be doing something all the time. And I first tell you, I love doing nothing because that's where the day retreats, they take you away from the busyness, put you in an environment that's conducive for creativity. Because when we get in that divine feminine energetic state of connecting with our intuition, that's when we like open the floodgates of
Mm,
ideas, of inspiration, and it puts you in a place where you're working on your business and
yeah,
not in your business. I think
yeah.
every business owner needs to take time out of their, I do every day, a little bit out of every single day. I will not, very, very selfish in saying this. I will put time aside where this is my spiritual time. And it looks different for me every day. Sometimes I might sit out, I got a beautiful deck overlooking the water. And this is, again, like it was one of my dreams. So it got from books and all of the courses and mentors and personal development, I thought bigger. And I've noticed a lot of goals of mine have been ticked off. And one of our goals was to live on the water. And I wanted to see the sunrise with uninterrupted views. And we're here because I also wanted that goal because I knew it would give me a creative space for my work. I love my work. And so I sit out there every morning, I watch the sunrise and have my raw cacao. Sometimes I might sage away any heaviness. Sometimes I will journal whatever comes through. Sometimes I will sit in meditation, and I can be there at 5 o'clock in the morning and ideas will come through for my coaching program. And I'm writing and I'm okay with that. So it gives you the space, the quiet, helps you as a business owner with your purpose, your creativity, and you just problem solve so much better because you're solving problems from a clear, grounded, centered
Mm,
space, opposed to reacting all the time.
mm. So this is quite a logical question, but how much time do you give yourself to those spiritual practices each day?
Sal, you know me, I am so flowy. It depends because this is just me. I never wanted a 9 to 5 job. Like I never wanted to work strict hours. I want to work when I want to work. So sometimes I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm in the studio at 4:30. So I might do some classes and then come back and then
Mm,
do a bit of spiritual work. Sometimes it might be of an evening when I go to bed and I might do a little bit of journaling. And sometimes it might depend on what I need in the moment. If I'm really, this sounds kind of contradictory, but if I'm in the thick of a burst or I'm overwhelmed or I'm stressed, it kind of feels like the time where you don't have time for your spiritual practices. I will take more time because I know by retreating. So it could be an hour. But then
mm.
other days, it could be seriously 15, 10 or
15.
15 minutes.
Yeah, because that's what I was alluding to, and the reason I was asking that question is because so many people, and women especially, that are juggling all the things. I can hear them saying, "I just don't have time. How am I going to fit that in?" So I guess this is why I was asking you, and I knew you probably wouldn't have an exact like 30 minutes daily. It's ebbs and flows, which is awesome. But what would you say would be the minimum that you'd recommend for someone to get started with giving themselves that time to themselves to do this work?
Look, for me, I think 30 minutes is amazing. And I think that I'm a bit blunt. You make time for the things you value. You just don't value it enough yet. When you value it, you will make sure that you get like 30 minutes a day. But even 15, like 15 is a great start where you might just go outside and just take a few big like butterfly grounding breaths and just start your day with your feet on the earth. That might be all you have one day. And that is perfect, like that's just do something for you where you just start your day. I'm a big believer in start your day calm. So even if I have to go to the studio early morning, I will pop on, I will just take a few breaths before I go first thing in the morning, take a few grounding breaths before I go, have my lemon water, sometimes watch the sunrise, have a lemon water. Sometimes it's often dark in winter, and I'll pop on. There's a playlist that I've made up called Raising Your Vibration, and all the songs are about energy, about law of attraction, about flow, about I am beautiful, I am this. There's such a powerful, powerful playlist that I refuse to put the radio on. I don't want to listen to rubbish on the radio. So I will put that playlist on as I drive to work. So I'm starting my day it raises your vibration. It raises your energy. So if that's all that you can manage right now as you drive to work is take, 10 butterfly breaths, pop on your playlist. It will shift. You watch how your day unfolds as opposed
Yeah.
to just reacting, running out the door late. And it might mean you got to get up 5 minutes earlier, or it might mean you have to allow 5 minutes to pop a podcast on. But I don't even like a podcast first thing in the morning. I
Yeah.
like just peace so I
Because
can
you're
connect
tuning
with.
into somebody else's thoughts and ideas then, aren't you? Rather than allowing your own to come through.
And it
Yeah.
makes you think. It makes you kind of think. Whereas even if I'm driving to work with that playlist, it makes me get in my body. It makes me move. It makes me listen to the mantras of the words of the song that I'm anchoring into my core of being. Yeah, it's really
Mm.
powerful.
Yeah, I love that. I can remember, one of the early days of personal development, just simply learning when you log onto your computer, don't jump into your emails because you're tuning into someone else's agenda rather than your own work. And it's just that flip of starting to put yourself first rather than, the other people that you're listening to and having them influence you. So I really love that tip. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, and gratitude. Gratitude. As I'm taking my breaths, what am I
Mm,
grateful for today?
yeah.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Big time.
Um, the Raise Your Vibration playlist, is that something that you do share with your
Yeah.
clients? Is that something?
Yeah, if you follow me on Spotify, it's Lisa Everding, one word,
Yeah,
and it's on. Yeah, it's raising my vibration. It's just in my
awesome.
Spotify account.
Yeah,
Anyone
'cause I
can
thought I
tap
can
in.
link to that in the show notes because after you share that, I'm like, I know people are going to be asking, I want that playlist.
It's the
Awesome.
best, and it's like funky reggae. It's not all slow. It's like some of it's funky reggae
Yeah,
vibes that you want to sing and dance.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, awesome. So I want to ask you, Lisa, what have been some of your biggest challenges in business? And the reason that I ask this because this podcast, I really want to share the real and rawness of being a woman in business, and be real and share what happens behind the scenes, the highs and the lows. So we will talk about the highs, but I'd love to hear, what's been your biggest one challenge or challenges?
I got a list. The first one, I think, is really being allowing myself to be seen. Like I think that's a real challenge, allowing me to be my real authentic woo self, because I would kind of hide a bit behind closed doors. I think it's still good to keep part of you private, but I found that the more I've actually started to open up and let my real self be seen, the more my business has expanded, the more my confidence has grown. But it's hard. It's hard jumping on Facebook and doing a Facebook Live and letting people see you. It's hard showing up and letting yourself be seen. That's been a big challenge, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And I just had to let my wall down and go, I'm just going to be my real self. And a lot of people gravitated towards that. I think being alone in business, when you run a business on your own, I think that can be a struggle, not having anyone to bounce
Hmm.
ideas off or making decisions. So I've definitely found community has helped, like your community, having a coach, working with somebody else in business that just can see, like I say to Sal, this is all my stuff, and you're so intuitive, and you just have a way of kind of helping me see things that I don't see. So working within the community with your platform that you've got with the coaching group of girls, you're in there with the women, hearing everybody else's struggles, knowing that we all, and wins, like
Mm,
knowing that we're all going through the same things,
mm,
but we get ideas, inspiration off each other. I think that's been very powerful. The I've been the bottleneck in my business, if I'm honest. I've definitely been the bottleneck trying to do everything. And I've just hit a point of, I literally hit a point last year, just before I went on a Bali retreat. I felt like I was done. I felt like, why am I doing this? It could be easier if I had a job. And you kind of sometimes can hit that point where you feel like you want to chuck it in. And because, maybe there's a cash flows, there's definitely highs and lows with cash flow. There's times where you feel like you're doing so much and you want freedom in your business, but at the same time, you think, I'm just so busy. I'm neglecting kind of those closest to me. That had been a struggle. And I had to actually, I've just put some systems in place to get some support. And it just feels like such a relief. And systems, like you've been, I'm very flowy. You've definitely got me with systems and getting structure and systems, because we don't get taught how to run a business. I'm great at what I do. I am awesome. I will get you results. And I don't say that in an arrogant way. I'm good at what I do, but no one teaches you how to run a business. You're kind of figuring it out along the way. So I definitely have found that working with a coach or working with other business owners just has helped. And also, I think last thing is two things, like learning to back myself and trust myself. I've tried, can be a bit of a people pleaser, and I've probably tried clung on to people, whether it's staff members or, I've had to learn to go, this is what I'm worth. This is what I need to value myself. And I probably went a little bit too far where I've just tried to keep people happy, that I was like, this isn't working the way I want it to work. So I'm kind of a bit of a evolution I'm going through at the moment, and understanding, I think, as a business owner, that we go through phases. Like when we got this house where we moved now, I felt like my business just took a back seat. It still ticked over, but I had to go through a phase where we relocated our family to a new home that needed a lot of renos. I just had to go into mum mode and had to go into renovate the house mode and get our whole family set up, that for probably, I reckon, close to, if I'm honest, close to a year, 6 months to a year. I'm still showing up teaching, but behind the scenes, my focus was on getting my family stabilized. And I think as mums, sometimes that's hard to navigate when you're trying to run a business, you're trying to run a household, you're trying to be mum, you're trying to support everybody. That, I think, understanding we go through phases or bursts, and that's okay. It doesn't have to all be perfect, that we've got everything's amazing in every area of our life. And I was honest with my community when I was going through that, and honest with my team. And I just had to be honest with myself and be okay with going, this is a phase I need to do, and just tick along. But now I'm in a burst.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And it's a real insight or an authentic insight to running a business, that you do have different phases and it can be challenging, but you can then have these bursts where you're just on a sprint. I want to recap on what you shared there in terms of the challenges, because I think they were really relatable and really common, that other women, I'm sure, will go through as well. So number one, you had allowing myself to be seen. Two was feeling alone in business. Three, you being your own bottleneck. Four, learning to back yourself and trust yourself. And five, the phases that you go through.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, awesome. So I want to just dive into the bottleneck one a little bit more, because you said you were the one bottlenecking your business and now you've sought help. So was that like you were trying to do it all yourself and now you've had to reach out and get more systems and more people to help you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to run the studio. I'm going through a bit of an evolution at the moment where I'm updating everything. I feel like I'm starting my business again from scratch. If I'm honest, updating like the website. I noticed that things were lacking. Like there wasn't consistency. Like I dropped the ball, and it wasn't intentional. It was just because I was at capacity, and I just felt like it would just all become a bit overwhelming and a little bit too much. Like my social media wasn't consistent. Just a lot of, I guess, procedures that I should have had in place, or things that I would miss. It was like almost like I was doing things at maybe lots of things at maybe 50 to 80% capacity, and to go, you know what? Because we sit with that fear of, it's going to cost me money to put somebody else on. Can I afford to pay somebody else? And then I thought, well, how can I afford not to? If I keep going the way I'm going, nothing is going to change. So I just recently got one of my beautiful teachers. I've just reached out to her, and she's going to jump on board, because I'm very, very big on customer service, and there's lots of different ways to get support for different people. So, some people are great with a VA, some people are fine with an overseas VA. Everybody's different, but for mine, if I've got people helping me that are ringing my community and checking in after their first class and things like that, I want someone in the industry who is really, who knows like the deep, for me, personal
Mm.
customer service. And so I sought help with that. And I sat with her the other day and I said, these are all the things I want to do, but I can't do them all. And she's taken ownership and I've had to let go and give her that role. And I've said to her, just for instance, I want to run a challenge. I used to do them. Can you take care of it? And I just gave her the result. And then I stepped back and I walked away from that meeting and went, oh, that felt so good.
Yeah.
It felt like it freed me up to focus on founder jobs or on the bigger picture vision of my business than getting stuck in the admin that anybody could really do. So
Mm.
that has been where I felt that I was the bottleneck, because I was trying to do everything, but everything was getting done at, it was half-assed, if I'm perfectly honest, and it
Yeah.
wasn't consistent.
Really great insights and great shares there, because there can be that scarcity around paying somebody. But when you think about it, what do you like the CEO tasks? If you think about what you'd pay someone per hour to do those and what you'd pay someone per hour to do the admin tasks, it's really it's saving you money in the long run, because what you'll be doing to develop and grow the business is going to be bringing more money in. And the tasks that you're then outsourcing are the lower ticket tasks that you can get somebody to help with. So it's a really great decision that you've made there. And I look forward to seeing this next evolution of your business. On this podcast, I really want to buck the norm a little bit for women in business and get women in business to share their biggest wins or their biggest business brags. So I want to give women permission to do this. So, Lise, what would you say is your biggest business brag?
Oh, I've got, do you know what? I'm very big on results for
Hmm.
people, and like my goal is, my what lights me up is people sharing what they've, like people come to me and say, you've changed my life. Like I had a woman that said, like, you saved me. I would be dead if it wasn't for you.
Wow.
And I don't take that lightly. And this particular woman and others, I've had 3 women have got my angel wings tattooed on them.
Wow.
So I go, wow, like that's, to have your the logo tattooed on somebody is huge. You know that you've really left in somebody's life. I had 2 things that have happened recently. I got chosen to two. These are really big things for me. My favorite clothing brand is Kavari, as Sal, and the owner of the founder of Kavari, Kiki. She put out a mentorship for. She had like 500 expression of interest, and she picked 15 women to work with, and I got accepted into that, which is again leveling up my thinking. Yeah, again, it was an investment, but to have it, the other reason I like that is because it was putting me in a bigger room of women that I could tap into for future. Yeah, it was just another network of people. So I was very excited, and to learn from someone who's built a $50 million brand is huge. But the thing that I'm most excited about at the moment is I got selected by LSKD to be like their headquarter store athlete, which is a huge thing because they've recognized me as our brand, and they've recognized our community. This is not just about me. This is
Mm.
about community, and they've recognized the values that we hold in Earthy Angels and the community, that they've asked me to represent them as a headquarter athlete for 12 months. So, which I'm super excited about,
That's
because that
cool.
will just, yeah, be an amazing collaboration. And all of those things were goals of mine on my goals list. So, yeah, it was.
That's phenomenal. Wow. I really just want to stop and pause and acknowledge those huge business brags or wins and celebrate you, Lisa. Firstly, having 3 women get your angel wings tattooed on them, like that is such a testament to the transformation of how you've helped people. And that's 3 women, but there's so many more that you have had such an impact on their lives. So that's really special. And you're making just such a big difference in the community and with women. So I really want to applaud you for that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. And you know what? And I'm okay owning that. I think a lot of women feel like we're not allowed to, it's not even brag, or we're not allowed to say, like, damn, I'm good at what I do. And I
Mm.
think every woman needs to actually celebrate what they've achieved, and the the services that they've given people and the results that their clients have because of them leaving their gift or their imprint in the world.
And I believe if we do that more, that's the antidote to imposter syndrome. You know, we see so many people out there that suffer imposter syndrome, and I believe it's because
Yes.
we're not celebrating ourselves, we're not acknowledging these wins and sharing them, or we're keeping them a secret or keeping it to ourselves. And when we do that, you know, we can forget about them as well. And you know, you're not bringing it to light and bringing it up and out and into the open. When we share that, it really we remember it, it integrates, and we acknowledge ourselves and recognize that, so that we do start to feel good at what we do.
But from an energetic point of view, from a vibrational point of view, like I had one of my women, she walked out of class the other day. I did a bit of Reiki with the girls as we were in Shavasana and yoga. And she messaged me after and she said, "Woman, you've got a gift for what you do." And I actually sat with her and I went, "Yeah, I do." And
Yeah.
so when we as women acknowledge those things, it raises your energy, it raises your
Mm,
vibration, turn raises your self-worth and in turn raises your self-belief. The most common thing people do is they hide from compliments or they push them away and go, "Oh, you know," they don't own them. And when you own it and you go, "Yeah, like that is true, I really help that person," or "I am great at what I do," it raises your vibration. The more you raise your energy, the more you raise your vibration. You're a magnet for bringing into your life your goals and more abundance and more things to be proud of. So it's very powerful when we actually own our gifts and our magnificence and our talents because we've all got them in our own unique way.
absolutely. And I see so many women minimize that or justify, as simple as getting a compliment, and they'll be like, "Oh, no, 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 you know, or I got this on sale," if it's something that they bought. You know, they justify or minimize. So if we can stop doing that, everyone, we'll put that out there collectively. And it's going to help you to own your gifts and be really proud of yourself. So that is awesome. And congratulations on being selected for the Kavari mentorship and the LSKD athlete at their headquarters. That is so awesome. It's so great that that's a recognition of your community as well. So well done.
And it's a testament to the inner work that
Yeah.
we do. Like I was shifted on the inside, my belief, and then the external results are coming because
Mm.
of the that
And
type of
so this was all in your goals or in your vision board.
Yep, yep, yep. I had the three things I had up there at the beginning of the year. I come out of my Bali retreat in October last year, and where I felt like I was done. I'm like, I'm not done. I'm done with the day-to-day grind. I'm done with the stuff I don't want to do. And then I wrote down, I put on all these bits of paper, had it all mapped out. What do I not want to do anymore? What do I want to do? And then I had in my goals, like on my collaboration section of my goals was, yeah, the mentorship with a big founder, get into bigger rooms. And I want to do a collab with LSKD. I was thinking like a clothing collab just because I love the founder. I love their brand story. It's just sort of everyday person like you and I who've grown an amazing brand. And I'm inspired by that. I love following people I'm inspired by, and that was on my vision board. And then when they had a meeting with them and they said, "We want you to be the headquarter athlete," I was like, "That's amazing! Yes, well, I'm in." What does that even mean? I just wanted a clothing line. So I think sometimes it's better than what I had on my vision board. And when we have that, one of my mantras is like, the better it gets, the better it gets. I have a big
Mm,
expectancy. You know, you have a big expectancy. What if things get to be better than what we anticipated?
the better it gets, the better it gets. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So, are the angel wings coming to LSK t-shirts? Is it happening?
Yeah, we've got a big event coming up in a couple of weeks. In I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but anyway, it'll be out soon. But we're doing a big event, and in headquarters, it'll be like a reset for spring, and I'll be in there doing. It'll be movement, it'll be goal setting, meditation, like a really cool event at headquarters, and
Mm.
there will be some gifts with the angel wings on,
Oh, oh
which
my
is which
gosh,
is
that's phenomenal. And that's so, I just love that this was all on your vision board and this is all what, you know, you've been dreaming of and asking for, and it's happened, and you've created that. So kudos to you. It's so, so inspiring.
Yes.
I want to wrap up with asking you, Lise, what season of business are you in right now? You mentioned that you're in a burst, so whether that's it, and what are you creating this season?
Yeah, I feel like I've finally got the courage to let my real woo self be seen, because like one of my big goals is to normalize spirituality for the everyday person. And I feel like the studio is come for the movement and stay for the healing, because I believe that the body is the gateway. It's almost like it's the easy way in coming to yoga, because people, you can kind of start with
Yeah.
something that's, you know, I have people that come and go, I hate that Shavasana stuff, or I can't sit still. Then after 6 months or 3 months with me, they're like, I bring on Shavasana. Like, I love it so much.
I noticed
Because
that.
people,
Sorry, I'm just going to interject, but I noticed that at the day retreat, I had a couple of women that it was quite new to. When doing the meditation, they said, my mind was racing too much. And then another lady who's been going to your studio for years, she was like, I could just drop in straight away like that. Like it just comes so easy. And I really thought to myself, it just goes to show how much regularly you do expose yourself to it, it can come a lot more easier.
oh, that's right. I mean, the secret to anyone's success is found in your daily routine. It's the little 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here. And I found that a lot of, I guess I know where I want to take the brand. I've got it all up in here and in my heart. But my marketing, my website, it doesn't all represent, it's like that all has to catch up. My systems, my software. I know what I want to do in the studio, which is probably a bit different to what a lot of yoga and Pilates studios do. And I've had a bit of a fear of, I guess, looking at what everybody else does, and not wanting to kind of buck the trend a little bit, because what if people don't like it? What if people don't come? What if people thinks it's too woo? So all those fears get over your head, go through your mind. And I just made a decision coming out of my last Bali retreat. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to put my blinkers on, and I don't care anymore what anybody else is doing or how it's supposed to be done. I'm just going to go with my gut and back myself and trust myself, and really dive into, because people say in the women's circles, I love your meditations, I can do them all the time. So I've kind of need to now update all of my everything, my website, bringing in all of these things that I want to sell and have people get access to off the mat, because you're only in the studio for a couple of hours a week. It's what you do in your daily routine. And so I want to kind of help build a supportive network online that can help people off the mat as well. So yeah, I'm in that bit of a burst where I'm terrified slash excited. I'm overwhelmed slash I've got this, So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
going through, and it was when I made those decisions back in Bali around in my May retreat that this is what I want to come back and do.
Mm.
That it's like everything, because something shifts every time. Even though I go there as a retreat host, as a facilitator, I'm still doing these practices with the girls. Something in me shifts every time. And I come back and I leveled up I got out with the old and in with the new. I got rid of a lot of my limiting beliefs and went, I'm not going to think like that anymore. They still pop up. I do my spiritual tools and I work on them. And then I made a decision. This is how I want my brand to kind of look like. This is what I want to give my community. Everything come back to service, and everything come back to me getting in authentic alignment, going, I know what I do works. I've done my Reiki attunement. I want to bring that into the studios. There's a lot of things that I'm just, I guess, in a couple of month burst, putting all the pieces together so that all of the offerings that will be available are what is in authentic alignment with me and what my community's been asking for. So yeah, it's hectic. It's a busy period. You go through bursts, you go through phases, and I don't think we're perfectly balanced all the time in our life. Where, like I've said, we were going through that phase of building the house. My business probably took a bit of a lull, but now I'm in business mode, and I've made it clear to my family, to my husband, he's amazing. He's been my rock forever, and we've been together since we're 16. He's incredible. I'm like, I'm in this burst. Let's just work together as a family to support me through this, and just that communication with your family, knowing that I'm going to set some goals that when you get to the end, I'm going to take my family here, or let's do this. Like there'll be some kind of celebration on the other side. That's how I
Mm.
look at it.
Oh, I love it. There's been so many gold nuggets that you've shared today, Lisa. Thank you very much. I want to recap on a couple. You talked about something being really valuable, and this is something that I've taught in my programs previously. And I just think it's such an easy thing to do. And often people don't do it because maybe it's so simple, but it's really, really effective. And what you said was writing down all the things that you do want and all the things that you don't want. And I've done this recently as well, and I've just gotten so much clarity around, my own business transformation, my own pivot that I've been going through, but just really getting clear on what are all those things that you love doing and you enjoy and that you do want more of in your life, and what are the things that you don't want. So I love that you touched on that. Another piece of gold that you shared, off the cuff there, the secret to anyone's success is found in their daily routine. I love that. That's so profound. And I really like that you shared that, because that's how I see what you teach with all of your normalizing spirituality for the everyday woman. And in your group coaching program, it's bringing this all into your daily routine. So, and you also said this burst that you're in, you're both terrified and excited, which I just think is the perfect combination. You know that you're on to a winner, because if it doesn't excite you, you're going to throw it out. And if you're not terrified, your goal's not big enough. So I think you're definitely onto a winner there. And although you mentioned things are hectic, you're also in alignment. You're in authentic alignment there. That's really coming through strongly from you today, how aligned you are in the work that you're doing. So just recapping on all of those gold nuggets that you shared and so many more over the episode. So thank you so much. I will just wrap up with asking you, is there any one piece of advice that you would give to working women in business, that you would just love to leave the audience with today?
I guess the more you can lead with your heart, the more you can get into your heart over your head. I think that is how you return home to yourself and you get more into alignment, because I don't feel like I work. I love what I do and it all comes from my heart and the impact that I'm having on the community, and just getting back into that. Look, I'm going to bang on about intuition, about that feminine energy of doing that inner work, because you best as a business owner. It's time that you start trusting in yourself, trusting in your wisdom, trusting in your guidance, trusting in your heart, rather than looking what everybody else is doing, and just back you, because you've got this, girl. So every single one of us are amazing when we get back to letting our heart lead the way.
I love it. That is such great words of wisdom. Thank you so much. And where can people find you? Where's the best place to connect with you?
Yeah, Earthy Angels on Instagram. So it's Earthy Angels Yoga and Pilates on Instagram. I've got my podcast, Earthy Angels Connect, which is on Spotify and on YouTube. I'm up to like 105 episodes, right?
Wow.
And again, it gets back to the secret of success is just
Yeah.
found in those small little consistent routines. And yeah, or on the website, jump onto earthyangels.com. And in the next couple of months, it's going to look a lot better. There's a lot more coming onto the website, but there will be a lot more of my services on the website.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I've absolutely loved hearing you share all of your wisdom, and I'm sure the audience will love it as well. Thanks, Lisa.
My pleasure, Sal. I always have so much time for you. I love you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.